Margit is president of Moving Solutions, and I have a feeling your comments are going to go beyond just the mechanics.
Yes. I want to talk for about 3 words. One of them is the word control. I think in life we all want to be in control. And I use that word first in the context of our home. For most of us, our home is our biggest single asset. So when you decide that it's time for you to move, whenever that is, whether it's 6 months or 6 years or 16 years, you're going to want to get the most you can from your home. But what I want to know is, are you selling a used home or a luxury pre-owned domicile? And the reason I ask it that way is that many of us spend more time detailing our car when we want to sell it than we do getting our home ready to go on the market. But getting your home properly prepared to compete with the other homes can be a difference of tens of thousands of dollars. So while the idea of going through your things feels like an emotional task, I want you to also remember that this is a business decision. So whether you're planning to move in 6 months or 6 years, the question is how to start getting your house ready so that when you're saying, I'm ready, your house will be ready also. And that's about being in control, being proactive, and maximizing your biggest asset. So the second word I want to talk about is thriving. I think all of us plan to survive, but what's really important is more than surviving. We want to thrive. And I don't think that thriving is really defined by your 4 walls. Very often when we think about retirement, we think we're talking about a venue. And as Willa has talked about, it's more of a mindset than it is a venue. But the question is, where will you thrive? When my husband and I moved from our 6-bedroom, 3-story mainline home about 6 years ago, we didn't move because we stopped loving the home. What we have now is the house that suits us as a couple. And I even look at times saying, this is the house I can live in for a long time. So life does have unexpected turns. And it's made me think a lot about being in an environment where access to things is easy and unchallenging because it makes it more likely that you participate. And the last word I wanted to talk about is, actually it's 3 words. One's a contraction. I'm not ready. Now this is a word that of 3 words I hear a lot because people are talking about moving and they go, I'm not ready to move. Well, you might say that saying I'm ready to move is like saying I'm ready for root canal. I'm a senior move manager. This is what I do every day. Moving is still, even with our help, very challenging. I know our literature says stress-free. We lie. It's not stress-free. But like childbirth, like many challenging things you've done in your life, just because something is hard doesn't mean it's not worth doing. I imagine that many of you have friends who have made a move to a smaller home or to an apartment, sometimes in the general community, perhaps in a retirement community. And when you talk with them about how do they feel about their life now, I imagine that they say they are really enjoying their life. I also imagine that they don't really define their life by the 4 walls that comprise their home or apartment. And I bet it often doesn't even come into the conversation. And I also bet that almost none of them says they miss the yard, the lawn, the multiple floors, or any of the aspects of the homes they left in order to move on to another part of their life. So I want to close with just a reminder about things, since that is my specialty. The holidays are coming. And people, it's a time when you will be giving and getting gifts. So the first question, how many of you are warehousing things that belong to your adult children? Do they visit their things and not take them home? Okay, this is a time when the words adult children are like an oxymoron. It's true. They're adults in every phase of their life, except when it comes time to take responsibility for the things which they are asking you to continue to house for them. Part of getting back to taking control is it is your right to not have to warehouse their things. They are adults. If they don't want their soccer trophies and their tennis trophies, you don't have to keep them, or their college textbooks, or the wedding gown that your daughter had from her first husband. None of these is your responsibility to maintain. So get a red bow on it and have it there for the holidays. The second thing is, when your family asks, what would you like for the holidays? Remember, you don't need more stuff in your life. My new favorite gifts are things that I can drink or eat or do with my family. Actually, my favorite gift is handmade soap because it feels so luxurious and I always use it up. So I always am ready for a new bar. But think about things that you will consume and not things that will just add another burden to your life. Because ultimately, the things that are precious in our lives, I know we all have things in our home that are things and we say they're precious. But the real things that are precious in your life are the ones that are in picture frames around your house, not the things that are in your china closets.
Wonderful. Thank you. So the process is like childbirth.
Well, some parts of it.
Because, frankly, to be honest, I didn't find it all that bad. I want to come back to something you said in the beginning about almost envisioning your downsizing. Mm-hmm. Be a little concrete. So what does that mean? What happens when we're my age, 65? And I'm not going to stay in this house forever. I don't think so. How do I begin to envision the process of downsizing?
Well, I think one way to start is to look at how you actually live. Not the space or furniture you currently have, but how you actually live. Because although many of our clients have large homes, when we go and say, where do you spend your time? They'll say, well, we're never in the living room. It's just a room that needs to get cleaned. And we're in the dining room 3 times a year. Where we live is this room, our bedroom, the den, where the computers are. So to think about where your life is at, what are the functions that you do, where are the places that you spend your time and enjoy? Because that's looking not at what you currently have, but what you currently do. And that's the real part that I think needs to move wherever you decide to move. Those are the functions you're going to want to have part of your life.
That's helpful. Thank you.